Welcome to O Sabotage Games. Today we are breaking down one of the most underrated skills in all of sim racing, and that's defending. Everyone talks about overtaking, everyone posts clips of their moves into turn 1, but very few people actually learn how to defend with discipline, purpose and structure. And that's why most overtakes in sim racing are actually caused by defensive mistakes, not attacking brilliance. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 detailed, practical, real race tested defensive techniques that will instantly make you harder to pass in any league, any car, on any platform. These are the concepts top split drivers rely on, and once you learn how to apply them, you'll notice your racecraft elevate immediately. Before we get into defending, it's worth saying this up front. Defending only works if you understand how people try to overtake you. In one of my previous videos, I broke down 5 key principles behind clean, consistent overtakes in sim racing. If you've seen that, everything in today's episode will make even more sense, because now you'll be seeing the same race scenarios from the opposite perspective. Where that video showed how attackers create opportunities, this one will show you how to shut the same opportunities down. Defense and overtaking are 2 sides of the same racecraft mindset, and understanding both gives you a massive advantage every time you go wheel to wheel. Make sure you stick around for tip number 5, as it's the most important one of all. So let's get into it. So then, tip number 1, control the racing line, not the mirrors. The first rule of defending is understanding that you are the only one dictating the terms of the fight. The moment you start driving reactively, constantly flicking your eyes to the mirrors and second guessing every braking point, you've already lost control of the situation. A strong defender decides their line early. If you're taking the inside line to a corner, you commit to it decisively. You make one clear movement, you place the car where you need to be, and you force your opponent to adapt to you. What you absolutely do not want to do is weave, hesitate, or move twice under braking. That's not defending, that is panic in motion. Tip number 2, manage brake pressure and corner entry speed. What separates an inexperienced defender from a confident, high-level one is how they manage their braking zones. When someone is right behind you, breathing down your neck, the instinct is to brake late. It feels logical. You want to stay ahead, so you think you need to push deeper. But in reality, braking late while defending is almost always a trap. What actually happens is you overshoot the corner, you miss the apex by a meter or 2, and suddenly the attacker isn't behind you anymore. They're alongside you and driving straight past you on the exit. A disciplined defender does the opposite. They brake a fraction earlier than usual, stabilize the car, and deliberately slow the entry slightly more than they normally would. That extra stability means you can rotate the car cleanly, stay tight to the apex, and block any possibility of a cutback. This is how real world drivers defend. Not by going in hotter, but by controlling the geometry of the corner. A good defense isn't won by aggression, it's won by composure in the braking zones. Tip number 3, protect the apex and don't chase the gap. A lot of drivers think defense happens on the straight, and yes, straight line position is important, but the real battle is won at the apex. Most overtakes are secured not because someone has got a better run, but because the defending driver failed to protect the most important part of the corner. When you're under pressure, you need to mentally reframe what the corner means, but the priority is denying your opponent access to the inside of the turn. That means approaching the corner in a defensive posture, braking slightly earlier, and making sure your car is planted and balanced right at the middle of the apex. If you leave that area unprotected for even a moment, the attacker will dive in, and once they're on the inside of you, the move is either over or you risk causing a collision. The secret is this: slow in, fast out. If you sacrifice a bit of entry speed, you maintain control of the apex and fire the car out with a clean exit. That exit neutralizes the attacker's run, making it impossible for them to line up a move into the next corner. Defending the apex is the difference between a calm, controlled race and a desperate fight every single lap. Tip number 4, defense is a rhythm, not an emergency. Defending well is not purely mechanical, it's mental. The biggest collapse most drivers experience when under pressure comes from what's happening in their mind, not what's happening on track. When someone is right behind you, your brain goes into survival mode. You look into the mirrors too much, your reference points disappear, and you'll brake later than intended. Your smooth inputs become sharp and reactive. This is where the spiral begins. But elite defenders treat pressure as background noise. They trust their rhythm, they trust their marks. They know that the moment they abandon their normal driving and start making emotional decisions, they're setting themselves up to be passed. A strong defender maintains consistency even while being attacked. They keep their steering input smooth, they focus on executing the fundamentals instead of fighting ghosts in the mirrors. Defense isn't supposed to feel frantic. The best drivers make it look calm because they understand that pressure isn't a danger, it's just information. And once you internalize that, everything becomes easier. You stop reacting emotionally and start controlling the tempo of the race. Tip number 5. Keep your opponent on the outside rear quarter panel. This is the most powerful concept in the entire video, and it's something barely anyone teaches in sim racing. If you get this one idea right, your defender will transform instantly. When someone is attacking you, especially into a long braking zone or a medium speed corner, your goal isn't always to pull away. Your goal is to position your car so that the attacker is forced to sit on your outside rear quarter panel. This is a strategic position, it's not random, it's not accidental, it's the exact place where the attacker just has enough overlap to feel hopeful, but not enough leverage to actually commit a pass. When they're stuck on your outside rear quarter panel, several things happen at once. Firstly, they have to hold the longer line, which immediately puts them at the disadvantage. Second, they cannot turn in as aggressively because they risk cutting across your nose. Thirdly, they naturally have to brake earlier because the outside car always has less grip in side-by-side entries. And most importantly, you own the inside line and the apex. You're not blocking, you're not squeezing them, you're just simply placing your car in a position that controls the geometry of the next 3 or 4 seconds of racing. This technique is how top GT3, F4 or even F1 drivers defend in wheel-to-wheel situations. They don't try to slam the door, they try to keep the attacker trapped in that outside quarter where no real move can develop. If you learn how to maintain that position consistently, especially when transitioning through multiple corners, you become extremely difficult to pass cleanly. So then, some closing thoughts. If you apply these 5 techniques, controlling the line early, mastering your braking zones, keeping your opponents on the outside quarter, protecting the apex, and defending with a composed mindset, your racecraft would improve dramatically. Defending becomes less about desperation and more about structure. These concepts come straight from high-level racing, and once you internalize them, you'll notice that clean drivers have a hard time finding a legitimate way past you. If you want more long-form breakdowns just like this, make sure you subscribe to Sabotage Games. Let me know in the comments which defending situations you struggle with the most, and I'll try and build future episodes around your scenario. And if you want personalised feedback, you can also submit your races to Racecraft Academy through the link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.